Well, hello folks, welcome to Saving Miller. So if you recall, a while ago, this thing blew down. And we had a water barrel in it and stuff. It blew down on this side. And so it was sort of functional. It was kind of okay. It didn't have the water in it, but it basically worked fine for the chickens still. However, we got it up here, we got the goats, and then we thought it'd be nice if we could keep all the chickens and the goats in the same enclosure. The goats got in here and absolutely destroyed this 1/2-inch wire mesh. So on the sides of the coop, it works really well. On the floor, not so much. So today, I'm going to do some work on the coop. I'm going to tear all the old stuff out, and I'm going to put some new expanded metal in, and hopefully that'll hold up a little bit better. But it's also got bigger openings, so hopefully the chicken manure will actually go through there better and won't build up like it does here. So let's take a look at what we're starting with. So if you are building a coop or something like that with a floor in it, I would not recommend this 1/2-inch wire mesh for the floor. Like I said, for the sides it worked really well, but it's just too small for any manure to go through. I think it's fairly easy for them to walk on, but it's too flexible. So even though we've got those supports in there, it still is not holding up. And so we're going to replace this today and give them a better floor. Held this stuff pretty well, but once it starts breaking, they can definitely just kind of pull through there. But most of the staples are staying behind. So this hardware cloth, as it's called, I think is good for the right application. It was fairly easy to work with, but it just didn't hold up to the weight of the hooves, and it was sagging pretty significantly before anyway. And the turkeys, I'm sure, they had been getting in here some. I'm sure once I fix this, they will again. Came out pretty nicely. A little bit better than I expected. But we did have some loose wires, and I was concerned that these would, stay in the grass somewhere, and maybe the cows would eat them. So I really wanted to make sure we get this stuff out in a safe place where the cows aren't going to be crazy, and make sure it's cleaned up fairly well, and then we can get it back on the pasture. Okay, the little chickens need hearing protection. Good little man. Daddy's gonna make noise. really like this stuff. I should have used it to start with. Expanded metal. It's going to make a much better floor. Well, it was kind of sagging. Okay, move forward so I can put this in there. Now when this thing fell over, this particular 2x4 here cracked and split, and it's kind of a key structural member here, so I'm going to have to replace that. It's not going to be easy, but everything is screwed together, so I should be able to manage okay. But it's going to be a little bit of a task.
Hi.
Mini Farmer and the little man are hanging out in there. Okay, now when this thing fell over, one of the things that happened is that it kind of racked it a little bit, and so this thing doesn't have good shear strength across the unit this way. It does the other way because of the solid panels in the back, but this way it doesn't have a lot of structural rigidity. And so I'm going to show you a trick that might be useful in the future. So if you've got some plumbing tape, or you could use the proper structural ones that they make for a full-size building, you know, they'll use those metal straps to do the same thing. Right now we're not square, and I'm sure you probably can't see it on the camera, but it's leaning pretty good. It's almost an inch, and so I'll show you how to correct this and what we can do to keep this thing in structural rigidity in the future. So we'll get that ready for the inside, and then we will get this thing in place. Pipe clamps like this are extremely useful. Get your hands on some of these. So what we can do is simply put this thing on here and clamp it down. And we can pull this thing over so that where it's leaning this way, we can pull it back this way, and then our plumber's tape will hold it in place where it's supposed to be. So these gaps here are closing up now. It's a fairly small gap, but we're straightening that thing out. And it's coming right over. Now, I've done this a lot, so I'm doing it by eye. But you do probably want to put a square on here, you know, to see if we're back to square. Okay, so actually we are perfectly square there. One of my concerns is the door. The door was jammed before. Actually, the batteries are dead, so it's not going to do anything for us. But we are now back to square where we want to be. And so I'm going to go on the inside, and we're going to put that plumber's tape on there to keep that thing in place. this case, since we are leaning, we want the structure wants to lean that way, we're going to want to put the brace on the same way that we have the clamp. Same direction. Okay. That plumber's tape is really nice and tight. So we've got it where we need it to be. Now we'll just cut the end off and we're good to go. That thing should now stay put. Okay, so I got this 2x4 out of here. It was no small task. We definitely have some damage to other pieces, but by replacing this one I'm going to be able to make so it all works. So now I've got to get a new board and fit it in there. Then I'm going to be ready to put the barrel back in there where it belongs and fit the plumbing up to it again. Okay, I don't think this got caught on video or anything like that, but one of the issues with this coop is this edge here. This is a very sharp metal edge, and the latch is right here. And so I actually really sliced one of my thumbs. I don't remember where it was, but I really gashed it on this metal. On the last coop that I built, I got this edge protector. And this stuff is kind of hard to install, but there's a piece of metal in there, so it's it's fairly rigid, and then it holds on to the edge of the metal. So I'm going to install that on there to try to prevent having cut fingers in the future. And I would recommend this stuff for any kind of situation like this where you have, you know, fingers and metal edges, stuff like that. It's probably good for the animals too, but they're not necessarily going to be in contact with this edge most of the time. So this stuff is not really very easy to install, but you just kind of press it on, and in this case follow the corrugations. Just kind of have to flow around. The one negative is that it does kind of catch water and debris, so right now that stuff just kind of sloughs off with the rain and things like that, but this is gonna catch it here and prevent it from doing that. And like I said, the last coop that I built, I put this stuff on there because it was after I had sliced my finger. I think it's the duck coop has it, and it definitely helps to protect fingers, and it's worth it. But it does, like I said, it does catch that debris and keeps it from coming off as nicely as it would otherwise. It does stay on fairly well, but every now and then, you know, you have to go back and press it back on. If it's installed properly at the beginning, it does hold up quite well. So I've been very pleased with it. Now, because there is metal in there, you do have to cut this with metal. As far as the source for this, I believe I got this from McMaster Car, I believe. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I'll leave a link if I can remember to do that. But they're a very useful company for some unique things like this. Granger probably has it as well. I got a whole roll of it because we have, you know, a lot of sheet metal around here. It's a good material for various kinds of things. And so there you can see what it looks like. Some good stuff. Definitely save you a few cuts. Okay, I was able to get that new 2x4 in there. And I'm really glad I took the time to do this. That other one was really cracked up. And the water barrel will rest on it right here. So it's supporting some of the weight, not all of it. So now I've got to do the plumbing. I've got to get the barrel back in there. And I also need to put the drip edge, well, it is drip edge, put that channel back on for the trim. So, very pleased. It actually was quite a bit easier than I expected. Kind of boring for a video. I've got the floor in, and I've not secured it really at all, but I really like this stuff. It's flat. It's in 4-foot sections, about 4-foot squares, and so I just had to trim it to the width here, and was able to just put it right in there. And it stays, you know, it stays nice and flat. It's much stronger, and the openings are a little bit bigger. So I think it's going to both hold up better, be more comfortable for the chickens, and then also be easier to clean. So we could actually pull those panels out. There's 3 of them. We could literally pull them back out if we wanted to clean them. So it's almost ready to go. I also added a perch because we have more chickens. So they've got 2 perches in the front and 2 in the back now. So let me show you how this barrel is put together. So first off, it's about a 30-gallon barrel, I think, and it's kind of a challenge anytime you want to tap a barrel like this to, you know, connect water to it. So what I did is took the bung and I drilled it out to the correct size, the thread size of a 3/4 inch thread. With gasket material, I put a gasket in there, and now I'm going to put thread sealant on it. I really like this stuff. I hope you should be able to see that. This is excellent stuff. Much better than the tape. I don't care what the plumbers say. This is the way to go. I know a lot of plumbers, you know, use either one or both, but this stuff is excellent. So I actually have a really tight hole there, so this thread's in there, and then we're not really in a pressure situation. It's really just gravity flow of, you know, we might have a foot, and so that thread sealant is all in there and helps to seal it. Now on the inside, I created a bushing by just cutting a threaded coupling in half, and this threads on there the other way, and then that also helps to get a good tight seal. So I got to get a wrench and finish that. So now I can hook the plumbing up to this standard 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Okay, so my repairs and upgrades are finished. So I added these 2 bars on the roof because the turkeys are roosting up there anyway, and they need it. It's going to just make it a little better for them. So inside, let's take a look at this floor. I haven't even secured it. It's a fairly snug fit. There's 3 panels. There's one in the back there, and then 2 more, and then there's the water cups inside here, and so now we can put water here in this water barrel, and they'll be good to go. The nesting boxes, of course, are good, and we've got the the feeder there. And so the chickens haven't been laying real well, but we're gonna get the new ones to go in here at night and roost in here now. So got a new board here, all repaired. So this thing is ready to go back to the pasture. And it can handle the kids now. I did fix this door. There you can see the plumbing. Gentle, gentle. Don't break that. Yeah, please don't play with those. Don't bump them. They're fragile. You can't get out there.
Let's open it.
Okay, well that was an all-day project, but I think the birds are going to be happy, and we are going to appreciate having some functionality back here. Makes our lives easier when everything works right. Alright, Saving Miller out.